I know we're a little late, we want to be respectful of your time, so some people trickle in, that's totally fine. You will notice that there is a gentleman in the back recording. I want to let you guys know the only reason that is our professor could not make it today to observe our presentation. So for our grade, we have to have it recorded turned in. I want to assure all of you that no one else, except our professor, is going to see this video. So no one else is going to know you attended or didn't attend and what you learned today. So no worries there. We are graduate students of Eastern Michigan University in the HR Master's Program, and we're going to do your training for internal customer service. I'm Claire Lazier.
I'm Courtney Preventer.
Hi, my name is Donna Farah.
And I'm Shanezi Ferragina. Thank you for having us here. So first, I would like to get started with our 3 learning objectives of this training today. By the end of this training, this is what we want you to take away from this training. By the end of this training, you should be able to, of course, define internal customer service, be able to explain the importance of internal customer service within the organization, and then at the end, be able to provide examples of good internal customer service. So how many people have walked by a coworker and said hello or good morning, and they either replied with a grunt or didn't reply at all?
I can say everyone's had that experience.
So how did that make you feel? Anybody?
I don't know what I did to make them mad.
And I mean, how likely would you be to repeat that greeting, to say hello or good morning if you replied with that? So let me ask you this: what is internal customer service? Anyone want to take a guess?
It's how you're supporting each other, or whether it's individually or interdepartmentally.
Okay. So internal customer service is defined as the service we provide to our coworkers, our fellow employees, as well as the other departments within the organization, and as well as suppliers and anyone else we might work with to get our jobs done. So in a nutshell, it's the service we provide our coworkers.
Okay, who are internal customers? Think about that for a minute. Anybody know who your internal customers might be? Anybody want to take a guess at it?
Your coworkers.
Yeah, internal customers are defined as customers directly connected to the organization. It may not necessarily be always internal. It can be stakeholders, employees, shareholders. So you used to did answer that. Yeah. So any other ideas who it could possibly be?
Board members.
Yep, could be board members. Any other ideas out there?
Volunteers.
Yep. Yeah, basically anybody who's kind of helping out the organization. Yeah, anybody who's helping out the organization. Yeah, but it's basically anybody who's trying to help you get the job done. All right, let's give it over now.
So customer service. We all know what customer service is. We've all gone to Target or Walmart or any retail, restaurant, and we have certain expectations as to how we're treated when we go to those places, right? Everybody doesn't want that cashier to be like, yes, here's your order, or server, here's your food. We have certain expectations as to how we're treated. We should have those exact same expectations in the workplace as to how your coworkers, your supervisor, and how you guys are collaborating together. So let's take a look at customer service and internal customer service as they compare. So customer service, we provide assistance. So we're providing assistance to someone who may be a client, somebody who's coming to us for a service. It's always an external person, somebody from outside of the organization. Maybe it's somebody that you've built a relationship with, maybe a return client or a return customer that comes back, or maybe it's somebody that it's a one-shot deal. Like if you go at Target, are you really building a relationship with that cashier? Not so much. Internal customer service, you're working together to get that job done. You are going to see that person again. You are building that relationship. It is always an internal situation, so it's always a coworker or a supervisor, maybe even a vendor. Somebody that you have to build that relationship with. So what do these both have in common? Service. We should have those exact same expectations for service for internal customer service, external customer service. The exact same expectations.
Great, thank you, Claire. So as Claire's pointed out, there's some very stark similarities and differences between customer service and internal customer service. But let's try and frame those that comparison in a more real-world example. So can I have a brave volunteer give us a story of a time that they received just awful customer service? Maybe your cable was out over Thanksgiving break and you were just absolutely miserable. Speaking from personal experience, how about one of you? Can someone share? Anybody, don't be shy.
Me. All about this stuff. Bank of America, and trying to, I had to go through this horrible process of, with my line of credit. It actually had come to maturity, and I had to modify it, and it was horrific. And I saw sides of me that I never knew existed. And I was trying to be proactive, because they give you about 6 months. I started in November for a due date of March, and they were horrific. And every time you called, you talked to somebody new, you had to tell your new story, and nothing was ever resolved. And I was given this information. I had to send very sensitive personal information that they never got, and nobody cared, nobody knew where it was, it just went into somewhere world. It was just horrendous, and I actually did end up getting to a very high up person, but only because I had to go to a place locally and get them involved. And I said to him, I will only work with you. And he took me through the last part of it, but it was horrendous.
Right, so that probably really affected your trust and all that frustration that you went through wanting to work with that company again in the future?
Never.
Never. Perfect example. Great
Never.
example. Thank you.
When that bad boy is paid off, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Perfect.
And I say bad things everywhere I can.
There you go. So, perfect example. Imagine if we received that type of service from our coworkers, our teammates, our peers. Would you want to continually collaborate with those people? Do you trust them to get the work done if they're putting you through all that frustration? Probably not. So that's sort of why we're here today, to help you guys build the skills and the knowledge to foster an environment that enhances team building, respect for one another, and above all, employee satisfaction.
So what impact does internal customer service have on an organization? Courtney just talked about team building and fostering employee engagement and employee culture. So if you're being treated that way, if that situation with Bank of America was here, would you ever want to work with that person again?
No.
No. Would you ever want to do a project with them? No.
No.
So if you were in a meeting with that person and you had an idea, would you want to share it?
I probably wanted to share it, but I might not think that it's going to go anywhere.
Okay.
Which will be, make me even more unhappy.
Right? Exactly. So unhappy. So it has a huge impact on employee morale. It has a huge impact on the team. And in some cases, it can have a huge impact on the bottom line. If you're in a meeting and you're with those people who've treated you that way, or you've treated those people that way, and they don't want to share their ideas and their thoughts, those ideas and thoughts could be game changers. They could be huge ideas that could have a large impact on the bottom line, and they didn't feel comfortable enough to give them because of the relationship being so damaged. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So it absolutely encourages interaction between employees, relationships with supervisors, other teams, interdepartmental. So we definitely has a huge impact on morale.
So now that Claire has gone over the impacts on the organization, I would like everyone to watch this video and then discuss what we've observed here.
Sorry about that.
Hi Tim, how are you? Are you home?
Yeah.
What can I help you with, Mark?
Actually, thank you. This is the presentation for the Healthy Culture launch. I was wondering if you could take some time to go through it. I keep sending it to Phil. He keeps sending it back to me with all these changes. He says it's not clear and concise.
I was wondering if you could look through it and just give me some suggestions.
I'd be happy to help you with it, Mark, but I don't know much about organizational culture. When do you need it?
Actually, were you able to see the email from Phil? The kickoff is tomorrow.
Oops. Well, I guess my Phil filter's running. That was sweet.
Oh, thank you.
Great. So we've sort of seen this example. This would be, this example of internal customer service. How would you guys necessarily classify that? Were they giving good customer or internal customer service? Was it poor customer service? What would you say? What's your opinion?
I'd say it was like honest customer service. Like you have this issue, but it's not really my issue, and it's last minute, I'll see what I can do.
Right, right. But he did try to help him the best he could, right? What were some things that this individual sitting in the chair here did to make sure that his coworker truly felt valued in that situation?
He hung up the phone.
Absolutely. What was that?
Hung up the phone.
Hung up the phone, absolutely. Anything else?
He told him to sit down, he was going to take care of it in the immediate, so even though it wasn't his emergency, he was making it a priority for that person.
Absolutely, that's great. So we're going to watch another video now, and I want you to observe some of the differences between this first video and the next video that we're going to watch. Hopefully. Yes.
Actually, this is a presentation for the new Healthy Culture launch, and Phil was telling me
About time. So when my coffee's gonna be ready? No, that's totally unacceptable. I need those copies. No, let me talk to you. Go on.
Yeah, as I was saying, this is the new Healthy Culture launch presentation, and I sent it to Phil a few times. It's not very clear and concise. And Phil was telling me,
I sure hope so. What are you gonna do to solve the problem? What problem?
So compared to that first example, how does this one rate? Put this on the spectrum of poor to good.
Well, body language, he's not open. He's not open to listening, helping. He's too busy with his own
And what
situation.
specifically about his body language is telling you that he's not open?
Well, he's not, he's looking forward, not that way. He's actually, it's almost like he's turning away from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yeah.
Well, the guy who's standing up didn't see if it was a good time for him. He just sort of launched into this healthy culture launch and didn't really, ask him if he was available.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Internal customer service works both ways. Absolutely. Anybody else? Any other things you see in this video? Yeah.
Well, and not only that, he's trying to talk to this guy on the phone and the other guy at the same time, so he's not being helpful to either party.
Absolutely. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Okay, so you've had an opportunity to observe some internal customer service in action. We want to employ you guys to sort of do the same. I think maybe it would work best if we filled in these tables a little bit more. So I'm thinking groups of 3 to 5, if I could have just some quick Yeah, I could get 4 people per group.
Yeah.
That would work.
Yeah, let's try and do groups of 4. Kind of split it.
Okay, so what you're going to do in your groups are create 2 skits. If you turn to page 5 in your workbook in front of you there.
Yeah, if we have one person already, we'll need somebody else in that group too.
So on page 5, you'll find 6 scenarios, or 7 scenarios, excuse me. We'll call this group 1, group 2, group 3 all the way in the back, group 4, group 5, okay? So your scenario is based on the group number that you were assigned. You'll create 2 skits. The first skit is going to be a poor example of internal customer service. The second skit is going to be the corrected version of that same scenario. Please feel free to use the props in front of your table. We do really, really think that these make them fun, memorable, get creative with it. There are no rules. So you'll have about 7 to 10 minutes. We'll check in at the 7-minute mark and see where everyone is. And we're going to ask you to perform them in front of that.
And just remember, have fun with it, and no one will see this except our professors. So we're not looking for acting skills here.
Feel free to ask us any questions you might have.
I know, it's nice that we have no problem with this.
These did not come from anywhere within the organization. I made them up, so. This is last today. Well, you guys will learn from this experience. Have fun with it. Feel free to use the process training. Well, we can say now. Barbara's gonna dress up as a proxy. Well, we gotta do separate ones. Yeah, so we're gonna do be a sorry, my volunteers so they actually issues like all these people that were supposed to bring regulations back up. So now the rest of this week, I'm going to be
That's what I was thinking.
all of the first time, you guys were talking all of the first time, because there's anything else in that. And then second skip goals. My
Jim, hey, it's Sheila. Me, Sheila? Sheila, yeah, so we really need those, could you remember we talked about for the zoo walk, we needed those monkey thingies? We've got it all printed out, and we need them by Tuesday. Can you get that done?
Hey,
yeah, we need it done.
I need like 50 more on the monkey. We just got a bunch of sponsors.
Yeah, but our deadline was at 3. It's 3.
But we got more money.
Yeah, but that deadline on the phone right now.
Just ask them.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Guess what? In His Fitness, we're going to do a demo.
Jim, it's Lisa. Put the 50 I need 50 more logos on the monkey.
And ladies too.
Okay, so maybe you need to call me back and figure this out.
Yeah.
No, really, I need to know. I need to tell them. I need to know what they're ready.
And
If it would cost you more money, Sheila. Just say.
All right. Thank you. So, why was this poor internal customer service? What was going on? There was a lot going on. Let's try and break some of it down. What would classify this example as poor internal customer service? Anybody have any ideas?
Not being very flexible.
Okay, what do you mean by that? Who wasn't being flexible?
Sheila.
Not being flexible. Great example. Anybody else? Why was this poor internal customer service?
Interrupting.
Interrupting. Awesome. Great example. Yeah.
I think it was also somewhat poor for Jim though, because we had a deadline and then we, in the last minute, are throwing things at him with demands, and he's saying something about additional money, and we're like ignoring that and just saying like, do it.
Great. Perfect. So group one, can I ask you to come up and correct that same scenario, please? All right, take it away whenever you're ready.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Jim. It's Sheila from the Kitty Foundation.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's up?
So I wanted to give you an update on the Zoo Walk little monkey things that we were talking about. So first of all, we are almost good to go. How long do you need to take to print those out? Get those
Well,
printed in?
actually, I could, I need probably, I don't know, another 3 days.
Another 3 days? Jim, can I give you a call right back? Lisa just she just came with the monkey things right now, and I think there's an update. So Jim, let me give you a call back. I'll address this with Lisa, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Right away, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Hi, Sheila. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
What?
What's up?
I got 50 more sponsors.
Oh, that's great. 50 more sponsors.
Can they go on the monkey?
Oh, okay.
Hi Sheila, do you have time to talk about the lays and the walk and the demo and the, cruise in January?
Oh, the cruise. Well, Lisa, this is kind of a deadline. Is that right? We need to get this to Jim at Printech by 3.
Oh, sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll schedule, I'll email you.
We'll make it separate.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Thank you. So 50 more sponsors?
Jim will add 50 more sponsors.
It probably be an extra cost, and because of the deadline, he needs to have like 3 more days for that. Is that okay?
Give him money.
But okay. All right. Well, we got 50 more sponsors.
We
so
did get 50 more
that should balance
sponsors.
out.
He's gonna look really cute.
He's gonna look awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Great job, everyone. All right, that's a lot to live up to. Good job, So, how did they correct that first initial poor internal customer service skit? What were some main things that you guys saw, some differences?
Their attitude to each other was a lot better.
What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate a little
They
bit?
weren't so snippy, like, I want this and I want it now.
So more
Which is normally
understanding,
what happens.
right? More understanding. Absolutely. Anything else you guys saw? Yeah.
Well, they, kind of put Jim, they told him they had an issue and should get back to him rather than just leaving him hanging out.
Perfect. Absolutely. What about just simple things such as nagging? You know, using your manners almost. You know, did you guys see some of that in that second skit? Absolutely. Okay, so let's jump back to group number 2. Come on up. All right, take it away whenever you're ready.
And then the team meeting and attending the members.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna get ready with the team meeting now. Who has some updates?
I believe that Jody had an update. Yeah, so I know that this is kind of your thing, Reggie is really your bag, but, you know, everywhere we're going, turkey is what the topic is. And people are really feeling like they need to know how to do things more than fruits and vegetables. So you really got to work with this. See what I mean? Like turkey, do we roast it, do we bake it, what's going on? We don't fry it, we're trying to teach people how to eat healthy. Really, kids need to know.
Nobody, no one cares about turkey.
Kids need to know how to eat their turkey alone. No, it's important, and they need to know. Fun turkey to know, kids need to know.
It is important. We're talking about fruits and vegetables all the time, and the kids are getting enough protein.
What did that look like?
It looked like everybody was doing their own thing.
Perfect. Everybody sort of had their own agenda, right? All right. So you guys hopefully prepared a better forensic version.
Sure.
All right.
Get your turkey. Okay, everybody, welcome to our meeting. Let's do a quick check-in.
I've been having a pretty good day so far. I really need to make another pot of strong coffee and then it'll be alright. Julie's?
I'm a little bit distracted with this report I'm writing, but I'm here now.
I'm doing pretty good. I actually was wondering if it's okay to bring up an idea that I heard in the community for updating Reggie for next time you guys go through the updates.
Yeah, we'll start with that with the beginning of our agenda.
Okay, so a lot of people have been asking if we can expand Reggie. I know he's done all the different worlds to get his rainbow stripes for fruits and vegetables, but how can people eat like protein and meats healthier? And so I brought this little turkey guy. Maybe we can incorporate Reggie makes a friend, Tom Turkey. We just had Thanksgiving, so unfortunately Tom has to get eaten. But how can we help him eat Tom healthy? So I don't know, just an idea. People in the community were mentioning it at some of our focus groups.
So do you think adding other things besides like doing the whole My Plate?
Maybe.
Is that what you're talking about? Not just
Yeah, maybe expanding it to have like a second series with Reggie or something where we can learn how to eat healthier foods. And so once you're eating this, how can you cook it without just frying it or deep frying it, but healthier cooking options for the family.
So what do you think our beginning steps should be for that, for planning that?
Well, maybe we could talk to the schools, they did the same that the kids are really tired, and we can find out how much protein they are eating. Because we always ask all these surveys about all our servings of fruits and vegetables, but we don't ask them how much protein.
So what was the main difference you saw between that first skit and that second skit? The biggest difference?
Communication.
Communication. Can you be more specific? Was everybody communicating at once or?
No, individually they were listening to each other.
All right, so communication is a big thing in internal customer service. It's both talking and listening. All right, group 3, you ready?
It's hard to navigate to get up there. I know, right? It's a maze.
So this is, I'll just say, it's not really towards the media or the employee party on Friday, but it's kind of stemming from that. So it's a different situation, but I'm making it like it's a situation for Friday. So, did you guys all bring the cookies that I asked you? 4 dozen from each one of you.
No, I only brought 2. The kids ate the other dozen.
No, that's just rude. I asked for 4 dozen. I have 2. What do you expect me to do? Wave my magic wand and just roll it up? What about you two? Did you guys bring your cookies? Did you bring your cookies?
Oh, cookies didn't say I bring
4 dozen. I brought 2. I brought 2 dozen. What is it with you guys?
Well, that was pretty nice to bring 2.
Cookies? What are you for?
Cookies? No. I said I wanted to be, frosty? Yes.
I want to be frosty.
I don't want to. You might be like the ham.
Sort of dictate to everybody. We had some side conversations. What'd you guys see?
Both.
Yeah, absolutely. And what else? What else did you see? What was going on? What was the tone of voice like?
Oh, attitudes, like sassy and...
Very sassy.
I'm bird watching.
Very bossy. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So let's call her the boss with the magic wand. If she always had that tone of voice and that demanding demeanor, would you want to comply with her requests? No. Probably not, right? You'd be really apprehensive to? All right, so let's see if they corrected that.
Hi guys. I'm glad you guys came today. Did you remember all your cookies?
Nope, sorry, I only have the 2 dozen. Oh, but what? But I brought 6 dozen.
Oh,
great, thank you. I just roll the but I am feeling today.
But you know
what? I have time. I can go to the store.
Oh, if I give you money, could you run to the store?
I sure can. Do you need anything else?
No, just extra.
Okay, can I still eat?
You sure
Barb said that she would give us no.
You're gonna play Frosty too?
Yeah, I'll hand out cookies.
Oh, great. Did
Oh,
you do the
so
decorations?
nice.
No, we've got a whole box of them.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
What is the main difference in that skit?
They were working together to solve the problem as a team, rather than leaving it all up to one person to figure out where all the cookies were going to come from.
Absolutely, good. Right on that. Good job, good job. Okay,
Teamwork.
Oh, all right, take
I'm sorry if I got so busy, but I kind of need to talk to you about proving some of the stuff I need for kids.
Yeah, I'm really busy right now.
Lindsay, Art sent me over to talk to you because we have this grant report that's due, and I need like the section that you were writing on what you're doing for the marketing.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram right now.
I think it might be more important.
So, without pointing fingers, of course, has anyone encountered a Lindsay in one time in their career or another? You just can't put them away from their phone. Oh, of course, we're not reflecting on how she really is, right?
I signed up as the social media person.
So let's see how they corrected that scenario.
Hey Lindsay, I know I'm sorry you're probably busy, but I was hoping we could talk about some drafts that I need for the kitty ball that's coming out. Would that be a good time, or be later this afternoon?
Actually, can we try to schedule something a little bit later, Shakes? I'm kind of wrapped up in this grant.
What time do you think would be a good time?
What's a good time for you?
Maybe after 2 again, 2 would be great.
Sure, thanks.
Lindsay, did you get Art's email about the grant report?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance to respond to it. I've just been working on some kitty ball auction and stuff.
Well, if you could do it by the end of the day, that'd be great.
Yeah, okay, I think I could do that.
Thank you so much. So again, that second skit, what was going on in that second skit to maybe facilitate a little bit more problem solving, a little bit more communication? What were some of the actions that Lindsay herself took that she may not have done in the first skit?
She did some scheduling. She actually tried to balance both of them and actually scheduled a time that Sharon can come back and so that.
Absolutely. And what about her nifty little sidekick? What did she do with that? She put it down, right? Gave them their full attention. Perfect. So, last but of course not least, come on, girls.
Excuse me? Hey guys. I'm the new intern and I have been tasked with saving the rainforest. It's my first day. Kyle wanted me to. Oh my god, interns are so smart. Kyle told me I don't even have a name until I'll go get Kyle. Hey, sorry. Well, they didn't listen, so.
Guys, did you? Okay, good. And she was going to talk to you guys about some rainforest saving.
Oh, I love the rainforest.
Yeah, they talk to you.
feel? You know, it was written all over her face and her body language. What was going on there?
Well, that she was annoying them first of all. And then they were like, oh, please get away. And she was just like, I gotta get this done, and hello, and yeah, like, made her feel bad.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's see how they sort of corrected that skit.
I just love my coffee.
Hey guys. Hi, how are you? I just wanted to introduce my new intern, Ryder. And she wants to talk to you guys about some things that we're working on. So you ready for it? Oh, exactly. Great. Like Kyle said, I'm Ryder. It's nice to meet you. Oh my God, do you love birds? I do. Anyway, I love birds. I hear you love birds. I do. We have this one actually. I know you're busy right now, but maybe we can meet later and talk about Spanish. Yeah, I'm free this afternoon. Great, that sounds awesome. Good to meet you guys.
What was the main thing that Kyle did to make her intern feel a little bit more welcome? What was that first interaction like?
Introduced her to the staff.
Absolutely. Anything else? Anything else you guys saw? What was the staff like that second time around? You know, we talked about body language and tone. What difference did you see there?
They're more welcoming.
What do you mean by that?
They seemed more open, like, oh, thanks for introducing us, and now we kind of know who you are instead of just the person that's over there all the time.
Absolutely. Perfect. So, was this easy for you guys to come up with these two skits? Was it pretty easy? You know, you've had some experience with internal customer service, whether you realized it at the time or not. You all have some stories, I'm sure, that you could share with us. Which skit was more challenging to create? The good skit or the poor skit? What do you think? The poor skit, that's our question. Why do you, oh, Kim pointed right at you. Why do you say that? Why do you think the poor skit was more challenging?
More challenging? Oh, I was saying that it was easier.
It was easier.
Yeah.
Okay, easier. Why do you think that then?
Because you think of like every possible thing that could go wrong.
Okay.
Humorous, so then it's just kind of easier to implement.
All right, thank you. All right, you guys did a great job on that.
All right, so service standards. So if you turn to page 6 in your workbook, we all have different standards when we go to, like, you know, I keep referencing retail stores and when you're out to eat. We have different standards when we're, you know, dealing with a waitress or a cashier or anybody who might be assisting us in a retail environment. We have certain expectations and standards. Well, we should have those same expectations and same standards internally. You'll notice up on the screen there's some examples of service standards. Some of these are very vague. Some of them are very specific and measurable. Some of them are for an individual person. And some of them are for a large group. So I want you to take just a moment, we'll give you a couple minutes, and in your workbook on page 6, I want you to do a quick self-reflection of yourself and think, what service standards do I need to implement for myself? Are you that person in the morning that we talked about earlier when somebody walks by and says good morning, you're like, ugh, hi. Do you maybe need to change that and say, oh, good morning? Maybe address the person by name. Think about yourself and your own interactions with your team and your coworkers, and what things can you change? What standards can you set for yourself that you can live by? So take a couple minutes and come up with your own service standards.
You want some of mine? I have extra.
There's always one table.
I was.
Alright, so now in your tables, in your groups that you did your skits with, I want you guys to talk about your service standards that you've come up with. And I want you to see what common threads did you come up with. Did all of you decide that you grunt when somebody says good morning to you? And that's something you need to work on? So see what common threads you came up in your teams. From each group, share one common thread that you saw in your team. So one person from each group share a common thread that you saw. So group one. So you didn't have a common, or wasn't you kept things going?
Yes, like when we just
okay. Okay, so watching your stress level. So, okay. Group two?
We had said that we wanted to make more of an effort to learn new people's names.
Oh.
So that we can greet them and we grow quite quickly.
Greet them by name?
So we want to make more of an effort with that.
Great, great. Team three?
Ours was the meter. Like
Being meter?
cubes, be meter to make us feel better.
Okay. Drew feels overwhelmed?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Group four?
We also, like, a few people
agreed about introducing themselves
Okay.
and getting to know new staff members, and I don't know, what would you guys say, maybe like trying to acknowledge requests from people even if you can't handle it like right that moment, at least acknowledge that you have received it.
Great. Group 5?
We also said about like meeting new coworkers and making effort to engage in small talk and just to get to know them.
Cool, so building those relationships. Great, great job. So I understand that I have a mixed group today, that some of you are employees, some of you are supervisors, some of you are managers. So I would strongly encourage all of you, you don't have to do it right now, but rip off that sheet of paper, hang it in your cubicle, hang it in your office, put it in a space that you're going to remember to look back at it and say, oh yeah, almost like a New Year's resolution. And these are service standards that you want to live by, that you can constantly improve yourself and your relationships within the organization. For those of you that are supervisors, think about maybe coming up with departmental service standards. Maybe as a department, you're going to say, these are our service standards, and this is what we're going to do. Every time that phone rings, we're going to answer it within 3 rings. It doesn't necessarily have to be specifically measurable that way. It can be more for an individual or a group, but definitely make sure you're looking at them individually, and if you're a manager, I encourage it as a group as well. Any questions about service standards?
So we've thrown a lot of information at you, we've had some fun, we've laughed quite a bit, but we want to take a step back and sort of revisit those learning objectives, the things that we want you to really walk away with today. So, can I have a brave volunteer who in their own words is willing to define internal customer service?
Be nice.
Be nice. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Just making sure that you're providing like respectful service to one another, even if it's not your job technically at that moment.
Absolutely, good. Anybody else have anything to add to that? Okay. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Just showing respect to coworkers that you deal with on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And respect can come in many, many forms, right? As we've seen today, obviously. So do I have a brave volunteer who's willing to tell us the importance of internal customer service within an organization? Go for it.
It's very important to have respect and show respect to each other, because if you don't feel respected in your workplace, then it makes it hard to come to work. And you want to be able to enjoy your job. And if you don't feel respected or wanted, then you're not going to enjoy your job, and then you're not going to want to be there anymore.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's revisit that idea of sharing ideas, exploring new avenues that we could take as an organization. How does internal customer service relate back to that? Does anybody have any ideas? As she was saying, you know, we're nice to our coworkers and we make this an enjoyable place to come. We also, with good internal customer service, sort of give that ability to share ideas we're not necessarily certain of, to collaborate with our teammates, right? So does anybody have an idea in their own words of how to provide good internal customer service? Maybe reflect back to your second skit that you did up here. Don't all jump at once.
I think, you know, maybe trying to read where the person's at and actually try to come up with a solution that, oh, Liz, I see you're busy right now, but I really need to talk to you. Do you have some time today that I could talk to you? So kind of making it, I don't know, a negotiation, I guess. And so that, you know, that instead of, you know, going, blasting in and going, hey, I need to talk to you right now, I need the answer, blah, 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 because we do that a lot. So, yeah, you know, maybe just even trying to just be more respectful and reading where the person's at and just negotiating a time that's going to be, you know, win-win.
Absolutely. Does anybody have any other specific ideas of how to provide good internal customer service?
I think, you know, we, for the most part, are really great with external customer service. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what department we're in, and you don't hear a lot of criticism from people about how we're rude or we're, you know, we're always really friendly and, you know, ask things respectfully and seem genuinely interested in seeing, like if somebody were to show up and they were a volunteer, we'd be like, hey, great to see you. We don't always do that with each other.
Sort of like a poor intern in that last year, right?
Yeah. So we can treat ourselves the way we do the outside world, you know?
That's a great point, absolutely. So, does anybody have any questions? Anything that we didn't answer here today about internal customer service?
Thank you so much for attending our training. We really appreciate the time you took out of your day to attend with us. We hope you all had fun and we hope you all learned a lot. Make sure you take your handouts. In your handouts is our contact information. So if you think of a question or you just didn't want to raise your hand, feel free to send us an email. We'd be happy to answer any questions you have. And don't forget to check out those service standards that you wrote for yourselves and hang those up on your tag board, or if you're taking things down, maybe put them somewhere that you'll remember to take a look at them. And we'll be hanging out for the next few minutes if you have any questions. Have a great day.